Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I can edit it.
Billie Jean's not my lover.
This is for the promo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Welcome to the No Dick Pics podcast. My name is Christina.
My name is Max.
Thanks for joining us. This is episode 5. We missed last week, so sorry. We needed a break already.
Mental vacation.
Yeah, but we're back. We're still going to be around weekly, so
We back.
All right, so how are you?
I am good. How are you, Christina?
I'm doing really well. I have some big things that happened in the past week.
Oh, you got to tell me.
Yeah, I filed for divorce finally. Yeah, officially filed.
Welcome to the well, you're not in the club
Not
yet.
yet, but I'm getting there. And then we now have a date set. So in a couple weeks, I'm going to be officially, finally, completely divorced. And it's been kind of weird because I'm the one who initiated it. But like going through the motions of signing that paperwork, stuff is like emotional. It's like, whoa, I still want this, but it's like, it's
a lot.
real.
It's a lot. It's a what people don't realize when you're going through a divorce. I mean, you're ending something that you've had for a while, and so welcome to the. I think is it like now? I mean, it's got to be close to 70% of America. So we'll call it
70.
We'll call it 60. We'll call it 67.5%. That sounds better.
Yeah, and that's like, part of me is like, oh my gosh, I feel like the only person to ever get divorced, but everyone's been divorced. Like everyone I know has either been divorced or had someone they're close to go through it or something like that. It's just so much more common
Even if
now.
it's like, so my divorce was very. I mean, it was probably one of the compared to others, everyone's like, oh my god, that seems so. But it's still an emotional barrier. It's a big part of your life that's over, and it's sad, and it's even though you don't realize, you're like, oh, I mean, because you want it to happen, but it's still a big part of your life, and you're like, wow, So that's the toughest part. I mean, for me, when I got divorced, it was I knew it's what I wanted, but also I was also able to celebrate it as a point with like my kids, and we're very civil, and that's an important part of my life too.
Yeah, it's definitely like it's something that I've been prepared for a while, but it's just the actual like act of signing that paperwork and finalizing things, even though it's not officially final yet. But I was married for 23 years, which is a long fucking time to be married. So it's just like it's the end of an entire section of my life, and so I'm very much looking forward to the future and like what life has to bring me, because I've been having a lot of fun and a lot of adventures, hence this podcast. But it's still like a whole new chapter, and I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah, it definitely, it's not a chapter you want to forget because it's very important in your growing process. But, I always told people, don't feel ashamed, divorce used to be such a bad word, but you can't feel ashamed of it. This didn't work out, this is what it is, and you still have memories, and you can still look back. Especially for me at some points, it was a lot of good, it's just like, maybe the last couple of years weren't the best, but I'm very civil with my ex-wife, and we co-parent in a good way. So that's, I mean, to me it comes down to how are the kids doing, and then the rest of it's like, hey, how are we doing? But yeah.
So that's enough depressing talk.
Let's liven this party up.
Well, what's going on with you?
I don't know, just a lot of stuff going on, work, kids, different stuff. Big dance competition coming up this weekend, so I'm pretty excited as a dance dad. Yeah, I don't wear the shirt, but I scream and yell.
Do you really?
Yeah, I was always thinking like how am I gonna feel? And like the first time I saw her dance, I just like I light up, and I'm nervous, like I'm on the edge of my seat, like oh. But you realize, it's just you want to be there for them, and it's good. So Other than that, it's just busy. Want the summer to get here, just
Yeah.
kind of relax. But yeah, it's been good. Just hanging in there.
We're both summer babies. Like our birthdays are actually only 2 days apart. So,
We're Cancer.
yeah. Why does it say plug in your device when I feel like it's plugged in?
I don't know.
Cool.
Are we talking about the computer or?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So I'm actually really excited for our interview today.
Yeah. So today we have Tristin Hayze, and we were promising him for a couple episodes now, but we finally got to connect with Tristin. Tristin is an author, a wrestler, an actor, producer. He's got some podcasts coming out. He's a busy, busy dude.
He's an author.
Yeah.
Do you say that?
Yeah,
I don't know.
say that. Okay. So yeah, we have Tristin coming up.
Who says men don't listen? What? Yeah.
Anyway, you get to be the star of Topic Time. We were talking with Tia in episode 4, who is one of my favorite humans of all time. Everyone, if you didn't listen to it, go listen to
the
it.
froyo. I love that was great. That was great.
So Tia is one of the most joyful, fun people you'll ever hear. She's got some great stories. If you did hear her, you love her too because you can't help it. But Tia brought up, have you ever just sent someone your entire vulva? And I have not, because I don't. Do people want to? Do men want to see that in a picture? Would you be like, yeah?
Men want to see everything.
Oh,
They're not gonna admit that they want to
Yeah.
see everything. Yeah.
I'm not sending anyone my vulva. I'm sorry. That's not happening. Don't ask. Don't DM me for vulva pictures. You're not getting them. But you have a story. I'm gonna hand you hold this.
I think I talked about it as the crossing guard story. So maybe like let's say like a year and a half ago, I was talking to this woman and she was a crossing guard, and I was like, oh yeah, that's nice, but that was her full-time job. So maybe I'm like conceited. I'm like, ooh, I don't know, but she was very provocative, like from the start. She was like, sexting me, talking about what do you like to do and stuff. So like any guy, I'm into it, right? So I'm into it. We're going back and forth, and all of a sudden, I get she bombards me with pictures in her crossing guard outfit, like butt ass naked.
Oh my god.
And I'm talking like every shot you can, from lower shot, upper shot.
You gotta do the TM, like.
Yeah, and I mean, she's pierced in many areas. So she was piercing her nipples. She was pierced down below, and she was really into it. And we're going. I mean, it's fun, I'm like, yeah, we're going back and forth and stuff. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, she's a crossing guard. Like, I know that's conceited, but it's like, can I do this? And she was more in the city, so we're talking, and she just continued to send me stuff. The craziest pictures I've ever seen of certain positions and stuff. So at first I was like, yeah, I was excited, but I'm just like, I think she's just lonely, but I don't know. So at the end of the day, I was just like, this is fun, but it's probably not like what I'm looking for, but definitely was fun. I mean, the pictures were fun. My favorite was like she had the full crossing guard gear on the top, like the reflectors, and just butt ass naked everywhere else. So
This is the person helping children cross streets.
yeah, but I mean she want but I mean I mean that was an interest. I mean that came out of nowhere. We started talking, and all of a sudden she like asked me a sexual question, and it just went like boom, and she went all in.
So like for women, like we're not. I guess it depends on who you are. She probably digs it. But, like, I'm not excited when a guy immediately starts talking about sex or whatever, because I'm just like, cool, this is all we're going to talk about now. How do you feel when a woman does that? Like, how did you feel about that with this situation?
Well, I mean, it turns you on. As a guy, you're like, yeah. I mean, we don't want it. I mean, you don't want to talk about. I think as guys, we're afraid to bring up the sex topic because then it's like,
no, you're not.
no, but some guys are like, oh no, because that that's all you want. But I mean, once you bring it up, a lot of times the women just, I'm like, it's gold. Like they're going into it. I'm this, I'm not gonna lie. Like I love, when a girl sends me pictures. I mean, that's awesome. And when you start sexting and stuff, I mean, it's you're alone. Like
Yeah.
you're lonely. Like, and when someone feels like, hey, doing this, and like I was loving it. Like I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna be like, oh, it was too much. Nothing's too much, especially. I mean, most guys are not gonna admit that, but it was cool. It was nice. But then after a while, it kind of wears off, and like, okay, where are we gonna go after that?
So
But
I guess my question is like, it creates interest, but does it create interest to like want to develop a relationship, or is it more of a just like a I would hook up with her?
well, yeah, in the beginning, you're not thinking about a relationship. You're thinking about like, yeah, all right, let's get this going. But then after a while, see, here's where my weirdness takes over. I keep thinking like you're a crossing guard. Not that nothing's wrong with a crossing guard, but it's like I need a little bit more, I need some like future, like, hey, I work for a living, but I don't know. It was just weird to me. It's like,
Yeah, help you cross that street, man,
yeah,
safely.
she'll never put up the stop sign for me.
No, not ever. Green light
Yeah.
all the
So
time.
I have a lot of, I don't know. I don't have a lot of stories like that, but you meet some interesting people, and sometimes maybe they're just like we talked about in the previous episodes, the pen pals.
Mm-hmm.
Some people just maybe are more talker. They just like to kind of stir up conversation. I mean that happens. It gets very sexual and it gets very hot and heavy, and you get excited. You're like, yeah, this is. But then it's like, okay, when we meet, what's gonna happen?
Did you ever talk to her on the phone? Because you're a big talk guy.
No, it was
just. So do you think that is like indicative of you not actually being interested? Like it was more of just a fun thing?
I think it was a fun thing, a sexting
Yeah.
thing, yeah.
Because typically you'd want to talk to someone.
And I can't look at crossing guards the same. I mean, when I take my kids to school and I see the crossing guard, I'm like, no.
Oh.
So, I don't know. I feel sometimes it's a platform just to kind of, get away from your comfort zone. 'Cause
Yeah. Where did you meet her? Was she helping you cross the street?
It had to be Hinge or Bumble, one of them.
So I legitimately thought when you originally told me the story that she was your kid's crossing guard.
Oh, no.
And I was like, damn, that's ballsy.
Nah, I don't.
No.
You just kind of you have to see what's out there, and I mean sometimes you need to be put in another world, like kind of a fantasy world, which I think is important because sometimes you're lonely and you're
Yeah.
kind of feeling down, and you're like, oh yeah,
I mean, yeah, I've done that plenty of times where I was just like, no one's talking to me right now, so I'm gonna go match with a bunch of people, which was a mistake. That I did that probably like a month into dating. I had a night where I was talking to like 2 or 3 guys, and they were all busy apparently, and no one was talking to me, and I had like a night by myself, and I'm like, I need someone to entertain me right now, so I went and like overmatched, and then I was talking to like 15 people, and I was like, oh shit, but then like I'm like, they're gonna fall off. They didn't fall off. I had to like break some hearts. Could be like, I can't juggle this many people at one time.
it's a lot,
Yeah.
you get going, and my whole thing is like, how am I gonna remember? So
Spreadsheet.
yes, I don't think ahead like that.
I'm so organized.
Well, I have a thing where it's like I have about like a 2-day window. If you don't respond to me within 2 days, I'm gonna cut you off because it's
Yeah.
like it's not much. But I think it's just like the phase you're in life. Like when I first got separated and divorced, I just jumped in the pool like cannonball, like Ron Burgundy in Anchorman, cannonball, like, and that's what I did because you didn't know what was out there. But then you start noticing, and the worst is like I think how the apps grab you is just like, for some reason you get attracted to someone, you start talking, and it's like really good, and you start talking for like 2 or 3 days, and then it just like dissipates, and it's like, what happened? And that's the frustrating part. But I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. So like we said, we have Tristin Hayze. I met him through an app. I matched with him, and
What was your first impression of him?
I thought it was funny as fuck. Like, he made me laugh, and that's like a thing for me. Like, you want to impress me, make me laugh. So he was incredibly funny.
Knock knock. Oh, I'm just trying to make you laugh. I'm sorry.
It worked.
Yeah.
but yeah, he made me laugh, and we just like had a good connection. But it was for me, it was more of a friend vibe, which could have just been because I was talking to 8-Day at the same time, and he was love bombing me. So I talked to.
I love that love bombing.
I talked to Tristin for a couple days. 8 days. I know. It took me so long.
Was that a Beatles song? 8 days a week, or is that 7 days a week?
I don't know, but
probably 7 days a week makes more sense.
But yeah, I was talking about it in this Facebook group that I'm in. Like, it took me so much longer to get over this mediocre guy that wasn't that great. Now that I look back on it, I'm like, ugh, no, not Tristin, by the way.
But your senses, you just get into it. I've had people I've been so into, and I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Why was I doing that?
Yeah. So if you're obsessing over someone who is treating you like shit or broke up with you or whatever, has ghosted you, just take a moment and be like, is this person that great? Like, or is it like in your head? Did you build this person up? Are you thinking about the potential and the future and all that instead of what you're actually dealing with? Because when you look at what you're actually facing and like experiencing, if it's not that great, like, let's stop crying about.
Or just take her to Mexico. That worked.
Yeah, that worked great.
Yeah.
How's that going? How are you two doing? Madly in love?
Fantastic.
So yeah.
I mean, we haven't communicated in like over I think it's been like over a year, was it?
So it's going well.
Yeah.
Yeah. When's the wedding?
No.
Destination wedding.
I don't know. It depends. Like, if is Ric Flair my minister, then I'm all in.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you gonna invite me? Can I be the flower girl?
I'm looking forward to the interview.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not lie. A little wrestling's not.
I feel like Max has never been so excited to talk to a guest because I said he's a wrestler and he's like, oh, yes.
For life. See so.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah. So every little aspect in life, like if I hear an old wrestling theme or anything, I'm like a kid. So, you know, the whole Generation X. So when they play that music, I just start saying, "Oh, you didn't know? You was better call somebody." But that's what happens. Like I just get into it, and I can't. Like, wrestling is so. I've loved wrestling as a kid.
You're so now. Fired up.
Yeah, I'm an adult. I love wrestling. It makes me happy. It's my happy place.
Do you love wrestling as much as you love dating?
I love wrestling so much more.
Yeah.
See, wrestling doesn't let me down.
Yeah.
Dating lets me down.
Dating will let you down. Yeah.
Now, if I dated a wrestler, that might be like the perfect mix.
We'll see.
I don't know.
Maybe you and Tristin hit it off. Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm excited.
Yeah. So we're going to take a little break, and then we're going to come back with Tristin Hayze. Okay, so I'm going to introduce you, and we're going to talk about dating, boys.
Yeah.
Which is difficult when you're a wrestling fan.
So. Right. Yeah. I knew you guys were going to get along. I'm like, wait, this might be a mistake. Okay, so we'd like to introduce Tristin Hayze. Welcome, Tristin. How are you?
Thank you. I'm doing pretty good. It took me a while to get here, but between some other shit and my CTE and poor memory combined, I finally made it.
We're so glad you're here. Thank you for joining us. So I actually met Tristin on Facebook dating. We matched. You were one of the first people I ever matched with. And
Poor
honestly, it was
unfortunate
because you were just so funny. Like your profile was, everyone's profile is exactly the same. All guys look. There's a TikTok about how all guys say the exact same thing in their profiles, and yours was different, and yours was funny. And so I was like, okay. And you're in Naperville, so I'm like, all right.
There's an old joke about that where a guy was all like, "What's your search parameters on dating?" He's like, "Jewish in my zip code." That's all he looked for. That's where I'm looking for my life partner. Jewish in my zip code.
No,
but yeah,
the 20-mile radius, it breaks it. When people are from the city, I'm like, no, not for me.
Like, you could be the love of my life, but if you were just 1 mile closer, I'm sorry. You know?
Yeah, so I met you at about the same time I met the guy from my first story, the 8-day guy. And that guy, like, love bombed the shit out of me. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go fall in love with this guy. And I stopped talking to everyone else. But I told you I was bailing.
Oh, yeah.
So then he ghosted me, like, a week later. And I jumped back on. And you matched with me again. And I was like,
because I saw you and I was like, oh, what are the odds? Yes.
She's back.
I also do that if I see somebody I know. If I see, it doesn't even matter if they're family. If I see someone I know, I'll match with them. I don't give a crap, guy or girl, just because it's funny.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The awkwardness is what I'm aiming
conversation.
for.
I'm like, yeah, definitely. So we've been friends ever since. So
I like to feel like I'm easy to talk to because I've learned over time that quite honestly, it's not about either person, or it's not about one person. It's about both people. So, there's a give and take in conversation that really can make it easy to appeal to other people if you just shut up and listen sometimes.
Yeah, totally. Waiting for you to start talking about wrestling again.
No, okay. I can go all night, so
So I've got this guy in a rear naked choke, right? And he's really something.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you? What do you do? What's your story? You don't have to tell us your life story. Just who are you?
It's an interesting question, almost metaphorical in a way. Like, who are you? I just feel like, in one sense, I'm somebody who's figured out, who I am in life, and now I'm just doing all the side quests, which is more of a nerdy video game reference. He probably gets that one. But no, me, I'm a good friend. I'm a happy father. I'm someone who's been through a lot of ups and downs in life with depression and happiness and success and failure. And I just feel like I'm at a good place in life where I've learned a lot. On the other end, I'm just a guy who drives a forklift and play fights with other sweaty men in tights.
I get the forklift, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a warehouse manager, so I deal with that all the time, yeah.
Say more about the tights.
Well, so they're Lycra. Hold on, I got them right here. No. They actually are like 15 feet away, but I'm not going to go grab them.
That's funny. So you're a wrestler and actor, too. And author.
Yes. I didn't want to bring up the whole author thing. I'm not about shameless plugs, but, it is something that I have done in life. I get teased about the name of it because I started writing it about 6 years ago before the TV show came out. And then everybody's like, ooh, the mouse
I didn't even know there was a TV show.
It's a Star Wars one. I was so pissed because it was immediately on my radar. I was like, ooh. And the backup title I had for that was Tough Cookies. So I was like, no, I'm sticking with Bad Batch.
No, I love it.
I'll risk it.
Bad Batch. Yeah.
But yeah.
I think I might have been one of the first people to buy it. I'm a big fan.
I appreciate that. I actually know who the exact first person to buy it was. So we can't tell her if, she was wrong or not. But, she'll get upset. She made me come to her house and autograph it first. And Lindsay, if you ever listen to this, you know it's you. So
that's awesome. Yeah. I kind of want you to autograph mine too.
I shall. I will.
Yeah, I did. I asked him for his autograph.
It's always weird to me when people do that. even like I said, like 24 years in wrestling, and before that I did boxing and stuff like that, and the book and different stuff I've done. It's always weird to me. I've never gotten comfortable with somebody asking me for my autograph. I'm always kind of like, really? Are you sure? It's
It's
I don't know how
something
to
to be
explain
proud
it.
of, though. You've accomplished a
It
lot, and
is.
it's very cool.
Yeah.
Like, I was so excited
Yeah.
for you when I saw the book come out, and I was because you had told me about it, but like I
I
didn't know it was going
yeah,
to be
it
out as soon
was
as it was. So,
well, it was supposed to actually be out a year before it was. Truth be told, like I said, I came up with the idea about 6 years ago when my son was still in Boy Scouts, and they had just decided to let girls into scouting because apparently in Girl Scouts they don't do as much stuff like canoeing and
no.
archery and all this other stuff. They're just cookie
Hmm.
slaves. But we had made the joke. We're like, yeah, we'll let them in. That's fine. But do we get to sell the
This guy's a
cookies too?
joke.
And they're like, no, they get to keep the cookies. We just get the girls. And I was like, that's all right. We'll just dress the boys up in drag and make them sell cookies. And one day it just came back to me, and I was like, hey, that was a funny premise. I should roll with that. So, and lo and behold, Bad Batch. You know,
It's awesome.
but no,
I'll have to bring it over so
it's been
you
pretty
can look
cool.
at it. And you got a
Yeah,
second one coming out, right?
I do. I am working on a second one right now, which I just learned recently, and I don't want to say who, because I don't like. I went somewhere where we were kind of entrusted with some information, but I found out that
Oh,
the premise of my book is also going to be the premise of the third movie in a trilogy for
oh,
one of my all-time favorite directors and writers, and I'll tell you who that is afterwards.
okay.
But yeah,
Is it who I think it
yeah,
is?
it might be, but it might not be, because I mean, I'm a big Jon Favreau fan also, so
Okay.
and
We'll talk. We'll
so
talk about it offline.
no, it's Transformers. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
Yeah.
I'll definitely
So
let you know.
cool. See, this is why I'm getting your autograph.
Yeah, I'm proud of it. I've actually got like three more on deck afterwards, and then some other stuff that I'm
Yeah,
working on. And then
that's cool.
I have a friend who used to be an editor at DC Comics, and him and I are working on a pitch for a one-off Batman graphic novel. Could
That's
be something, could
badass.
be nothing, but it's just a pitch that we're working on currently. So, but
You got a
that
lot
could
going
be
on.
something fun. I like to do stuff. Like
Yeah,
and like I
clearly.
said, I like to just if I want to do something, I just try to figure out how to do it. You know,
That's
like
awesome.
and that was the same way
That's me in
when I started with pro
podcasting.
wrestling, right? Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know what I'm doing. I'm holding the mic. All right. So, how has dating been for you? Well, first of all, how long have
Oh
you been single?
God. Um,
I
the
don't remember
best
this, honestly.
answer would be about technically 4 years.
Hmm.
Legally, I just got divorced last summer. We separated 4 years ago, and then just it was one of those things where we just finally got around to it. We're like, hey, we should get divorced,
Yeah.
and we did.
Sweet.
It was an interesting process too, because like even in court, like the judge was like, "Are you guys sure you want to do this? You seem pretty cool together." I was like, "Yeah, yeah. We've had 4 years to get to this point, so that's why."
Yeah.
Seeing us 4 years ago, we'd have been like Bart and Homer just choking each other.
Would like to hear people's opinions. Like, what's your opinion of dating today? Or not even an opinion, just if a friend of you is like, yeah, I'm getting divorced. What should I expect? What would you say to them?
If somebody came to me and said that they were getting divorced and what to expect, I think that honestly, the first thing I would say is be patient, because it's gonna take a while. It's gonna suck, and
Buckle
you're
up.
gonna go through a lot of stages. Like I went through my stages of depression and denial and grieving, and then it got to the point where me and my ex-wife were like best friends for the longest time, because it wasn't really a hatred or anything. It was just one of those things where it was she made her mistakes, I made my mistakes. Two wrongs don't make a right, and we just agreed one day, like we're not cut out for this together. you know. And it
Yeah,
sucks when you
I
think
totally
you
agree.
found your
Yeah.
person and they turn out not to be, but it all takes time and it all gets better over time.
That's one thing I think people don't realize is, me and my ex-wife, we have such a civil relationship. I mean, we're friends because I've known her for like 18, 20 years of my life. And other people don't understand, like, how can you be close? I'm like, yeah. And I mean, obviously we have kids too. And so the co-parenting thing's important. But it's like, I mean, you've known this person for 20 years of your life. Like, I don't have
Yeah.
any hatred. It's just we realize, like, hey, this isn't working. We go from there.
Yeah, I kind of went through similar stuff too with that. There were people that were always surprised that I never talked trash about my ex wife, but I mean, she wasn't his natural mother, but she helped me raise my son from the time he was 6 months old until he was 18.
Wow.
So that's something I can never repay. You know, I'm very grateful for that because she was a better mother to him than anyone could ever have imagined, and her family was nothing but inviting to him and me from the moment they met us. You know, I still look very highly upon her family, especially her mom, because her mom is one of the most interesting and best people I've ever met.
That's awesome. That's awesome that you had that
Yeah,
relationship with them. That's been the hardest part for me is like losing the family. And it's still all pretty fresh because it's been like a little over 6 months. But like losing the in laws, and when I didn't lose all of them, but I've lost a big chunk of my family basically. And that's harder than losing the guy.
yeah. It's weird because you become an outsider to an extent,
Mm-hmm.
and you're not there for everything that you used to be, and it's almost like you're, especially with social media now, like you're watching through this digital window of the life that you used to be involved in,
Right.
which can be rough. And I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the negative parts of
Especially the
social
holidays.
media now. Yeah, yeah, especially because like I had a talk with my mother-in-law about a month ago, and that's another thing. I never refer to her as my ex-mother-in-law just because I don't like the sound of it, even though she is, but I wasn't there for Christmas, and it was something that kind of weighed heavy on my heart because it was the first time in my life I ever spent Christmas by myself.
Mm-hmm.
And she had told me, she was like, I wanted to invite you, but I thought we just there needed to be the separation this year just to kind of like ease everything for people. And I was like, well, at least knowing that I was still wanted and welcome even though I wasn't invited this time, it took a big weight off my mind and my heart, and healed both in a way. So
Yeah.
even though you're on the outside looking in, that doesn't mean everybody doesn't still care about you or whatnot. It just means everybody handles things in different ways.
Yeah. It's a big transition.
That's one thing we did is we decided we weren't going to split up the family, and some people don't agree with it, but we all get together. So like birthdays or Christmas is weird. The holidays are very weird because you're like splitting it up. But we kind of like I always had Christmas Eve, so I still have Christmas Eve, and we weren't in a bad place, so I didn't feel like I wanted to split up the grandma and the grandpas, and make it like about this person or that person. So we still get together. I mean, and both, and like you made a comment about your mother in law, and I call it ex mother in law, but it's weird. It's like yeah, I mean she's still part of our
Right?
life, so yeah, I totally get that. I mean that made
I've
sense.
even I've even told my current girlfriend, I was like, if it ever makes you uncomfortable, but I still refer to her as my mother-in-law, let me know. I'm not gonna stop doing it, but just let me know, just so I know.
Yeah.
She is stunning, by the way.
It is just how I. Thank you very much. Yeah, she
Yeah.
lowered her standards to raise mine, so I was very fortunate about that one. I appreciated that one highly. Yeah.
So how did you meet?
Well, once you rejected, no, I'm just kidding. No, we did meet on Facebook dating though. It was one of those things, and we set up a date to hang out, and we took our time talking and everything, and then eventually, we got together for some football games, and it just clicked. But it was funny. It didn't click right away. Like I knew I liked her, but she was one of those people that was very shy in the beginning. And I remember telling a family member of mine, my cousin, I remember saying, I was like, I really like her, but I wonder if she's too timid or too quiet for me. And like we're all at the age where like you don't want to waste somebody's time. You don't want to be,
Yeah.
rude and ghost on anybody, but you also at the same time you don't want to string them along. And she was like, nah, you know what? Just give it a little bit. Give it like a month and see where she is then. And boy, did she come out of her shell.
Yeah.
And I will never ever regret, no matter what happens, I'll never regret, giving it that little extra time for her to actually come out, because there's times she says and does things, and I remember we were watching WrestleMania. We were all, me and her and a bunch of our friends together, and I don't remember what it was. I just know she said something that I looked at my friends and I was like, "Do you see why I love this chick?"
Oh.
Did she go the one? No.
She suddenly has the red chili peppers around her neck. Just
Yeah.
we're like, where the hell did you get the belt? Yeah. Yeah, no, she surprises me with that stuff too. Like, I gave her the login for one of my streaming services, and I look on there, and she's watching old Monday Night Raws. I was like,
Oh,
"Where the hell were you?" Right?
man,
I was like,
my heart would flutter. My heart would flutter.
Right?
Yeah.
I was like, "All right, what's going on here? This is awesome." But
That's
yeah, no,
awesome.
she's fantastic, and I feel like we complement each other very well, very well. And my
Yeah,
dog
you look
Charlie
really
loves
happy.
her, so yeah, I
Oh,
genuinely
I love
am.
that.
I genuinely am, and
I'm
I
really
even
happy for
told
you.
her recently, between her, my best friend Steve, and my dog Charlie, like, with everything that I've lost and the way that my life's changed in the last couple of years, the three of them becoming more consistent in my life has just made it so much easier of a transition. So I'm very grateful for that little trio.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I'm like I said, I'm genuinely happy for you. So I can tell you just seem happier overall.
I am, and it's almost uncomfortable at times because I'm all like, where the hell was this? How come life wasn't like this more often? You know? But it's better late than
That's
never.
awesome.
Not like I've had a bad life, because I
Yeah.
haven't. I haven't in any way, shape, or form. I've had a very fortunate life in many ways, but I guess like there were certain pieces that were missing that I might have not realized. Where I'm like, well, damn, this is fun.
That's great. So, do you have any crazy dating stories? Because I feel like you do.
God, I
Actually, I
was
know that
thinking
you.
about that, and I have had quite a few actually, and
Yeah. None of them are about
I
me
th-
too, so that's even better.
I well, I thought the two funniest ones to tell would actually be, there was a girl about a year ago. We were really connecting. We had started talking through some friends, and we decided that we were going to go out to dinner. And before we were going out to dinner, like all day long, she had been talking to me and messaging me and telling me, she was like, "Oh my God, I'm so excited for this. This is going to be so much fun, this and that," and maybe even throwing around a few flirtatious ideas and suggestions she had put out there, right? And we get to dinner. I let her choose. I said we can either go here or here. She was like, "Ooh, let's go here." So I'm like, "All right." So we go. We sit down. We have dinner. We're talking the whole time. And then about, I want to say, 25, 30 minutes in, we finish food. And right as the check comes and I start, putting my card down and paying for dinner, all of a sudden she picks up her phone out of nowhere and starts having a loud conversation like, "Huh? What? What do you mean they're hurt? Oh my God. One of the kids?
No.
Do I need to come home?" And I'm just staring at her. I'm like, don't, no, that's my move. That's not my move. But I'm like, no, don't do. It's so stereotypical. Like, it's like something you would see in a sitcom. And like, she hung up the phone.
Seinfeld.
She's like,
Remember Seinfeld?
"Oh my God, I have to go. One of my children got hurt at gymnastics, and now
Oh
my mom
no.
has them, and I think it's her knee." And I was like, "Okay, that's interesting. That's fine. Okay." you know,
Girl's just
and
hungry,
she's like,
man. She just wanted a free dinner.
right? She's like, oh no, I swear I had a great time. This was awesome. This and that. Never heard from her again.
It's not
Matter of
you,
fact,
it's me.
before I got home, her dating profile was deleted.
No.
I kid you not.
Yeah, she was just hungry, man.
Like, and I had heard stories like that before, and I had seen, you know, stuff like that in TV and movies, but it's like the chalk outline around the dead body. Like, you're like, that's not real. They don't do that for real. Nobody does that. But yeah, no, she completely ghosted me.
Oh man,
Completely. The conversation was so fake too. It was because it was so out loud, repeating everything. Just, and this tells my age because this is a phone, not just
right.
you know.
I'm
that.
gonna do the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was just a what? They're hurt? One of the kids? Do I have to come home? I'm like, seriously, come on, give
So
me a
she
little
wasn't
bit
a
of
great
respect
actress.
here. No.
No. Stick to your day
Which is
job,
good
lady.
because at my age I'm too lazy to give real orgasms. So if she would have faked it, I would have known. So, it's that wouldn't have worked out. But that
No,
that was
doesn't sound like
definitely the most recent bad one that I've had. But yeah, there was my favorite one though, and this will take a minute. I was younger, probably about 21 at the time, and my roommate Steve, who I've known since I was 19, he was like 23, and I met a girl online that I've been talking to for a couple of months.
Like
And-
AOL?
Yeah. I don't remember how we met, because it was you know, it was late 90s, early 2000s still, you know, and we've been talking for a couple of months online, and she was like, you know, you should come on out sometime, maybe this weekend, because I'm having a party for one of my friend's birthday. I'm like, all right, cool. So it's a Friday night. I'm sitting on the couch with my buddy Steve, and I look at him. I remember it so vividly. We're watching The Simpsons, and I just look at him. I was like, "You want to go to Iowa?" He goes, "I think I got some clothes in my car. Let's go." So we just hopped in the car on a whim at like 6 o'clock at night and drove 6 hours to Humboldt, Iowa.
But why?
Because I really thought this girl was amazing, and I wanted to meet her. And she, you know, she was like, "Yeah, we're having this party. Come on out."
And that was
6
also the
hours.
90s, early 2000s. Like, you would just hop in
Right?
a car and take a road trip.
Fucking Iowa.
Yeah. And the best part is it was snowing, and I remember us going an hour out of our way to follow a drunk driver who was swerving up and down the road, you know, just trying to call the cops and get them to find out where we were, you know. But we finally make it. It's like 1:30 in the morning, and I remember this girl had told me she worked at a strip club and alluded that she might be a dancer, right? We get there. It's 1 a.m. We're 6 hours from home. She opens the door, looks nothing like her photo. It was like the moment. It was like the moment in Friday when she said, the girl said she looks like Janet Jackson, looked more like Freddie Jackson. I was livid. She worked at a strip club. She was the bartender, apparently.
I was gonna say, was she the bouncer?
Right, she could have been. I'm not trying to be a dick, but me being a 21-year-old man at the time, very conceited and full of myself with long hair and tattoos and abs and muscles, thinking I was cool, I decided to pawn her off on my buddy Steve, and then proceeded to hook up with all her friends the next day. This did not work out well, because then now suddenly I have 3 or 4 different people in Iowa who think, oh, we have a connection now. And I'm like, shit.
No.
Shit. I also went from
Can't
sleeping
go back
in
to
the bed
Iowa.
to sleeping on the cold, hard floor in the middle of winter. So I was like, crap. I should have slept with the other girl so I at least have the bed. Priorities.
So
You know what I
have
mean?
you been back to Iowa since? That's my question.
I have. We actually went back 6 months later. and that one ended as a horror story. That's another one I think I would prefer to tell you offline, just because
Okay.
of because of the term statute of limitations. We'll leave it at
Oh,
that.
okay.
There's,
Wow. This is gonna
there was
become
some
a true crime podcast.
shenanigans. No, but there was some
No, okay,
shenanigans that
good.
somebody
Just
pulled.
checking.
So yeah,
Okay.
that's we're creating
Okay.
an
We'll talk
offline
offline.
list. Yeah, we're creating an
Right.
offline list, but yeah, I wasn't too proud of that one. Like in the moment, it was kind of
Wild.
cool, but then like later on, I was like, "Ooh, that was kind of a dick move," you know. But then again, I also was lied to completely for like 6 months,
Yeah.
so I was
I
like,
mean, that's fair. You were catfished.
"Yeah,
And you
yeah."
were
So
21, so I mean,
Yeah, the early like I always tell the '90s and early 2000s, it was just a different time.
I was
yeah,
jamming a
and I
Britney. I
mean,
still am.
and I still don't remember exactly how we met, but I just know I thought she was like some hot goth girl, and I was like, "Damn it, no!" So yeah,
No.
that was a pretty bad one. But yeah,
Yeah.
I've experienced some interesting stuff over the years.
I bet.
Yeah, I had
God.
one girl that I went out on a date with that it turned out we were, but basically because you said you have no language barrier, we were hooking up afterwards. We were having sex, and she tells me, she goes, "Hit me." I said, "Excuse me." She goes, "In the face." I was like, not really comfortable with that. She goes, "No, no, just like a." So I kind of like, no, no, harder, no, harder,
She wanted to like punch
no,
her.
hit me. And she was like, "Close up your fist and hit." I was like, "Yeah, no, we're done. We're done." It was the first time I've ever stopped just in the middle of it. She's like, "Hit me in the face." I'm like, "Can't do it. Sorry. Sorry."
Wow. You're like, we need to sign some paperwork first.
Right? Even then, I'm like, I'm still not comfortable with that. No, no, no. Not my thing. Yeah, oh, God. It's so hard sometimes because I have stories that I'm like, do I still talk to this person? Can I tell that? Should I tell that? You know?
I
Because
mean, I
I've
talk about
had,
people that I still talk to.
oh God, I've had friends walk in casually and sit down on the edge of the bed while I'm in the middle of sex with a girl, and just be like, "Hey, are you guys almost done? We want to get food."
Sounds like
Like my,
college.
my group of friends growing up, like I don't know what we thought we were, but it very much resembled like Bam Margera and his friends. We always had cameras in our hands. We were always doing stupid shit. Somebody was always
Where is
streaking
this
or
footage
drunk
now?
or there's actually a lot of it still that exists. I've been going through it, digitalizing a lot of it over the last 2 years, wondering
Yeah?
is there anything I can do with this footage?
YouTube.
Yeah, there is. But then there's some stuff where I'm like, I know nobody was offended, nobody was hurt, nobody was like assaulted in any ways, but I'm like, this is a kindergarten country we live in nowadays. Some of this stuff, people will be like, that's out of line. Because I remember
We always
watching some
talk.
of it with.
My college friends. I mean, like we talk about like if there were camera phones when we were in college, we would all
Oh
be
God,
done. I mean,
yeah, we'd all be canceled.
just the way things were. It's like, and
Scary.
I'm just like, I mean,
Yeah,
I remember a couple times we brought a video camera, and some of the footage is like, what were we doing? But yeah, it's funny. It's like, oh, if camera, thank thank God for camera phones. They're ahead of their time. So it was like, whew, we dodged a
I
bullet.
I don't know what was with me when I was younger, but I legitimately even my roommate Steve will say, he's like, you used to live with a video camera in your hands. He's like, I honestly feel like you experienced half the shit we ever did through a camera lens. And it's true because I have just hours and hours and hours of footage that I'm like, yeah, some of this should probably be deleted.
So, you have some projects coming up, right? Don't you have some podcasts that you're working on?
I do. I do. Aside from Bargoyles, which is book number 2 that I'm working on, I'm working on a podcast with my roommate called Under the Influence. basically, we like to sit back and have a couple drinks and watch bad movies or old wrestling and stuff like that. And we always find ourselves in the middle of pretty interesting conversations and looking up a million different things and going a million different directions while we're doing so. And whenever we're doing it, we're just very highly entertained. And I always figure if we're entertained by it, somebody else somewhere will be too. Because our
Oh,
stupidity
science
is
fiction theater
not.
3000, right?
Yeah, yeah. Our stupidity is not isolated to us, you
Yeah.
know? I'm going to do one on my own, which is just called Are We Recording? And that one
I
is
love
just
it.
simply me finding people that I find are interesting and sitting down with them and just learning about what they do and what they're into and their life. Like I know some people that year round work in the haunt industry, doing haunted houses and doing prosthetic makeup and all that stuff all
Wow.
year round. And like those are the type of people where I'm like, I don't know much about that. I want to sit down and just have a conversation with them and see what that's like and like what their life is like because of that, you know? Because like there's been people who want to sit down with me and talk to me and find out the same things just because of pro wrestling. And there's a million different things out there that are like that, and everybody's got something. So you know, like I want to just sit down with some people. And then the third one I'll be producing is a podcast for a group that's in pro wrestling called the Scumbag Army, and they get together once a month and do a thing called Promo Day, where they pretty much all just drink and work out storylines and talk about stuff that's going on in the business and the industry right now. So that'll be the one that's actually about pro wrestling, whereas the other two are more out there in the ether. So, but yeah, we've
That's
got
awesome.
that stuff coming up. Yeah, there's a few things that I can't talk about yet, but pretty soon I'll be able to. But yeah, I got a lot of little things on deck, so I'm excited for the next year.
I'm excited for you. It's been fun like watching you like grow and like, you talk to someone and they're like, "Oh, I'm doing this and this and this." You're like, "Sure." But you actually are. So it's been pretty
Yeah.
cool to see.
Well, and that's the other reason. Like, I'm not trying to keep anything secret, but when I say I can't talk about something yet, it's because I'm like, it's not. I can't fully promise I'm going to be able to produce it and put it out there
Oh
yet.
yeah,
So
that's
you know,
good.
like, I don't like saying something if I can't do it. You know, like, if it's not at least
Yeah.
in the works. So, but yeah, and then that, and I'm still wrestling and having fun. I've been doing some lucha libre shows, which is pretty funny because I am the exact opposite of everything they do, and I think that's why I've become popular at them because I don't do any of the crap the other guys do. I just go out there and I'm basically me. I'm silly and a smart ass, and they've kind of fallen in love with it.
Wouldn't mind seeing
Yeah.
that.
Well, I mean, they're lucha libre total. You can look for Fantasia. That is the character that I've been portraying at those shows, which is a
We
masked
are looking that
character
up
that.
immediately.
Oh yes, I'll send you some links. I'll send you some links.
Okay, awesome.
But the character is very very childlike and very loving in nature, and it is more like Animal from the Muppets than anything else. So you can take that into account when you watch. It's gotten on to the point where like I had went there just to kind of workshop the character to do it somewhere else, and I ended up deciding to stay because I was like I have fun there. You know, like it's a half hour from my house. I get to go. I have fun. I get to workshop
Yeah,
ideas and make a little money on the side. So,
that's
but
awesome.
yeah,
Sounds like a good time.
yeah. And then my roommate and I were working on coordinating some stuff for an independent film that he's going to be working on.
Wow.
So he's going to be doing that, and I'm going to be going with to help them coordinate some of the stunts and some of the work that they're doing. And then the one other thing that I wanted to announce is next year I'm going to be turning this into a War of the Worlds style audio podcast where we're going to get a bunch of different people together and assign them roles for the book and different voice actors, and we're going to turn it
That's
into a
awesome.
podcast several like different episodes to it. So
That's awesome. I cannot wait for that. That's gonna be amazing.
yeah, I'm gonna take my time with that. It's probably gonna take about a year to do, but
Yeah.
yeah, I want to do it right because I was like, it would be awesome if something else came of that, but why would you wait around? Because someday that could be forgotten. Someday it could be a movie. Someday it could be just something I did. But I'm not gonna wait around to see if it becomes something else. I'm gonna just make it something else.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a good spin-off, a good wrestling meets dating podcast could come about of this.
Trying to blend the podcast together. We'll do a.
I could
what's it
already
called?
see that. We could call that the Ring Rat Trap. There you go. There you go. Cowboys have buckle bunnies. Pro wrestlers have ring rats. We trap them in relationships, so it's the Ring Rat Trap. There you go.
There we go. Yeah, a
There you
little
go.
crossover there.
It's not a bad idea because there is quite a bit of crossover in the wrestling world, the male and female performers. Trust me.
Oh, I believe
Whether
that.
it's referred to as dating or not, there's crossover. So, but yeah, no,
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys having me and letting me show some stuff. And anytime you guys want to turn this into a threesome, the podcast,
Yeah,
we can, just hit me up, and I'm more than welcome to come back on and have some fun with you guys.
Definitely, would love that. Yeah, thanks so
Excellent.
much for joining us.
Yeah, if you ever want to
No
talk wrestling,
problem.
I'm always up for it.
Always.
All right, cool. Thank you guys.
Okay, we are back from talking to Tristin Hayze. We're so happy he was able to join
That
us.
was an amazing conversation.
Yeah. Oh, you're a big fan.
Yeah. Wrestling.
So, I'm gonna need to edit this too. What are we talking about?
I think the topic is, so we're all on a Facebook, like a single activity. What do they call it?
It's a single parents social club.
Yeah, social club. And they brought up the brought up the topic of casual dating.
What is casual dating?
What is casual dating? And there were so many responses, and I was like, wrong. Like, personally, to me, casual dating is just dating. Like, there's nothing. It's dating. And some people are like, well, it's dating multiple people and not telling them when. No, it's dating. Casual dating is just dating other people. Casual dating could be dating one person, could be dating three people. It's just casually dating.
What makes it casual? The fact that you're not exclusive, or
just that you're dating. I think the casual. I think the casual part of it like confuses people. I'm like, to me, casual dating. So if someone's like, hey, how are you doing? How's dating going? I'm like, I'm casually dating, and so to me that means I'm either dating someone and I'm non-exclusive, or I'm dating multiple people.
I would say casual dating is not exclusive. You're just dating. But once you're exclusively dating someone, I don't think that's casual anymore. Would you agree?
No. I casually agree.
You casually agree?
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of feel more like where like the group was saying how it's like a non-exclusive, like you might be dating multiple people, like
That's complicated. It's hard.
dating multiple people.
Yeah, I tried it. It's hard. It's.
I am so good at it. I never mixed people up. I never forgot who I was talking to.
Is that something you want to be good at?
I don't know. I was really good at it.
I don't know. But I guess you're like, so you must be a good multitasker.
I'm very good at multitasking. I mean, I feel like the fact that my life is what it is. I've got 3 jobs and like all this other stuff, and I can handle it.
I always
all.
had a boss that said he hated multitasking because he said, "Oh, you give a little percentage in all these tasks. I want you to do one thing great at."
I'm great at everything, though.
You
everything
are,
I
so
do.
I can't. Yeah,
Christina's the best.
So
Did you see
I don't
the
know. I don't
sticker?
know. Yeah, casual. I mean, I don't know. That's a. I just think it's how everyone views it.
Well, it's like when people have on their dating profile, are you looking for a long-term relationship? Or are you looking for a short-term? What's a short-term relationship, and why are you looking for a short?
So
is it a short-term? Like, I want to break up with you in a week.
I'm saying this. So I put short-term.
What does that mean?
Because short-term means you. It's to me, short-term says you want to date, and then see what happens. But only for like a minute. So okay, actually, I would detail it. Okay. Short term, hoping to turn to long term. But I don't want to, like, my therapist always said, you don't want to jump into something like you want long term right away. I want short term, and I want it to transition to long term. Is that
why it hasn't been working out? Like, I keep dating guys for like 8 days.
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, some people might think short term is hooking up. But like that's what casual is. That's what casual. I think casual dating. I mean, someone says I'm casually dating, that means they're hooking up.
So, what is the appeal of short term? Like that there's no commitment there, or
well, short term. Yeah, short term is like I'm not putting anything out there. We're gonna go on a date, see how it goes, and go from there.
Don't all relationships start like that? I'm not mine. Mine we
so why do we have to do
celebrate holidays together in the first week? But
I hate labels. I'm gonna swear, I fucking hate labels. I hate labels.
Why do you hate labels?
Because I feel like people are jumping into like, I want long term. Well, yeah, I know you want long term, but we need to build to the long term. So I like personally to me, I want to date. And I want to see what's out there. And then if I find someone I like, I'm going to build that to a long term. But I don't know. Maybe.
I'm always in for long term.
You're a label person.
I am a label person, but I'm also organized. Well, you know what's funny? I feel like you think I'm organized, but I'm a hot mess. But I feel like...
Do you have a brother label machine at home?
I wish I did. Do you know how much fun I would have with that? My friend, I'm going to call her out. Hi, Sandy. I think you're listening. So my friend Sandy had a label maker at work at my old job, and we had so much fun with that thing. If I had a label maker, I would just like put Max on your forehead. Short term. Casual.
What I gotta do? I don't know.
Labels. I love labels.
I hate labels. I don't want labels around me. I don't want labels near me.
I kind of want to get a label maker.
But everyone says that's kind of a... Like, I've heard things like, oh, when they say that, they don't want much. Like, no, I do. I don't know.
Do you think that leads into not knowing what you want? Or is just like, you just want to see what happens? Like, you don't want to go in with expectations.
I feel like dating, like, I feel like dating, you don't have a chance at anything. So it's like, right away, I want a long-term relationship. Well, that's great, but let's, like, to me, I'm old school. I will be very old school. I want to meet someone, I want to date her. I want to date her for a while. You know, I mean, not for a while, but I want to date her, get to know her. And I'm not into dating multiple women, but if it happens, it happens, right? You know, you meet someone else.
If dating multiple women happens, it happens?
Yeah, I mean...
You just accidentally start dating other people.
Well, no, I don't plan it, but, like, you start dating someone and then you meet someone else, like, oh, hey, you know, you don't want to leave a rock unturned, you know? Is that, or a stone unturned? I don't know. I don't know. Bridge over troubled waters. I don't know. There's all this, you know. So, and that's what I do, and I start dating her, and I get to know her, and like, and see what it becomes. Like, that's it. Like, I don't even know why we have to fucking put all that. Those are the dating apps. Oh, I want, you know. No,
I think it's telling.
I just want to think. I want to date. That's all. I want to date.
I think it's telling because I had a friend of mine who was having a lot of trouble finding matches, and I looked at his profile for him, and it said that he was unsure of what he was looking for.
I would never say you're unsure.
I'm like, that's why you're not getting label. Because you don't know what you want. And he's like, I do know what I want. I'm like, it looks like you don't. Am I boring you?
I'm tired.
So, I had him change that, and he started getting matches like that. And I'm like, it makes sense.
You never say you're unsure.
Yeah. It just sounds like you don't know what you want. You're just here to fuck around, you know? Like, it doesn't sound like you're here for, like...
But I think that... See, there's a label for everything. And that's what I don't like. I just want a label. Like, hey, I want a date. Boom. Oh, hey.
It's a label.
Yeah. I want a date. That's it. I don't mean short term, long term,
Well,
casual.
because apparently we don't know what it means.
I know what it means, but the rest of the people don't know what it means.
Yeah, that's a problem, right?
I don't know. This is why we complicate things so much.
That's true.
It shouldn't be complicated.
That's true. And that was something that I had written down. There's like all these rules. So there's like, you don't have to follow them, but like when do you have sex for the first time? Is there like a rule? Like there's people who are like, you should wait. This is bananas, by the way. I would never do this because I'm kind of a hoe. But like
first date, right? Isn't that how it is? No.
No.
First
I've
date.
never done a first date.
What?
Oh yeah, I have.
No. I mean,
Well, it wasn't really a date.
Well, so back in the day, it would always be like, right? So if you want to go watch the movie Swingers, and they have this whole thing about like when do you call the girl, right? Do you wait 2 days, 3 days? And I mean, if you think about
rules,
like if you think about it today, it's like no, you like reach out like after a date, you reach out like, oh, I had an amazing time. You're an amazing woman. I just feel a connection, right?
8-Day called me after our date. He called me on the drive home because he wanted to talk to me on the drive home because he was that into me. And then he dumped me a week later. Not even, like 5 days later at that point.
8 days a week.
I need to let go of that story because I don't care. I legitimately...
I know, I feel like it's like...
It was damaging. It was traumatizing, but like I legitimately do not care. Like, bye.
So the whole thing is too soon. So for a while, I never had sex on the first date, and then I ran into someone the last person I ever thought would happen, and it happened. And it really
ran into her vagina. Like, what do you mean?
No, we were just we were having dinner. We had dinner over here. We got a fire pit going, and I mean, I'm not thinking anything's happening, and then boom, it just turned. But I don't think it's like when you sleep with each other, it makes like to me it doesn't make a difference. Mm-hmm. Now I hear a lot of stories from women that like once they sleep with the guy, he changes his whole attitude, and I get that. He
dumps you.
Yeah, because in a guy's perspective, he sees, okay, I've conquered this. What else can I conquer? I mean, that's just how we think. I mean, is it right? No, it's obviously not right.
No, it sucks.
But that's how we think.
It's 6 months later, I'm still talking about it.
We're like, hey, wait, I got this girl. What can I get? And then we go on social media, and we're like, oh, we can get so much more. I'm like, no, we can't get so much more. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. It's
why they all come back.
Like I used to have a friend that she told me, well, maybe you hold back on the sex. I'm like, but when you're kind of into it, like when you're hot and heavy with someone, you're not going to be like, you know what? I think this has been amazing, but I'm going to hold off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, because there's a rule out there that if you wait 90 days, which is, I'm sorry, too long.
9 days 9 days would be too long for me.
90 days, it gives you a chance to legitimately get to know the person without like all the endorphins of a physical relationship. But I think those endorphins and that connection is also important. So like, what if you go 90 days and you hook up and you're like, oh, I don't have that connection with you. Then you just wasted 3 months of your life.
That's awful advice.
Yeah. So,
I mean, I'm not like the best with advice, but that is just the worst advice. I'm not saying hook up right away, but if you feel like if you're on a second or third date and it starts getting heavy and you want to do it, you do it.
I think it's fine. If it's the first date, it's not like a goal of mine, but like I think if you're in the moment, you just go with what's like feels right for you. And if it's a safe thing and it's like you're feeling it, I say go for it.
Hey girl, I got the minivan. Let's go. That's a perfect date right there.
No.
No?
No. I mean, maybe for you. That's romantic. You want to come check out my van?
Yeah, I got the Honda.
So, yeah, but there's that. And there's like you wait so many days to call someone, like it's not really a thing anymore. There's the waiting so much time before you're like in a legitimate relationship. There's so much time you're supposed to wait before you move in. There's so much time before you start talking about serious things. And I'm like, I think you just do what feels natural, because all these rules are just too, like, they're restrictive. And I feel like it will, I get some, because I'm big on jumping in head first, and that didn't work out for me. And in my current relationship, we went a lot slower, and I'm still with him. So it's working out. But, like,
He must be a catch.
it's very cute. No, we got to get back on track.
If the vans are rocking, don't come a knocking.
On the first date.
First date. It was great talking to Tristin, the author, the wrestler, and podcaster.
Yeah. I'm excited to hear his podcast.
Yeah.
They sounded interesting. The one where he's just talking to interesting people.
So, I don't know if they're young enough, but Mystery Science Theater 3000 was one of the first shows on Comedy Central.
I saw that.
And pretty much it was that they would show old movies, and it was like two robots and a human, and you would see their shadow, and they would just criticize the movie the whole time. So I feel like that's what one of his podcasts is. Him and his buddies are just going to watch wrestling, which I would be like all in.
I know. Max wants an invite. You do. You're like, I do. Invite me over.
I love wrestling. Wrestling is my... Oh, they're like, what do you love to do? Other than sports, I would say like...
He's outside of your 20-mile range. He's in Naperville.
Yeah, it would be like sports, sex, and wrestling.
In that order?
No, it's just in general.
In general. If
Depends
you had
on the
to
time
order
of the day, yeah. Depends on the day. Like, if it's WrestleMania, yeah. But no.
Good to know. Good to know. All right, let's wrap it up. So make sure you're following us. Cut it. Oh, look at you, Joey.
Yeah, you like it? Detroit's finest.
Really?
Yeah, he's from Detroit. That's why I always wear the Red Wing jerseys.
Oh, Joey. That's right. I don't think I ever... Okay.
Did you ever watch the other Fuller House?
I did.
How was it?
It was terrible.
Stephanie was hot.
She was a hot mess.
Yeah.
She had like all kinds of... She was the wild one. I related. I'm not wild at all. I like had the intentions of like going into the dating world and being wild, and I'm like, nope, got a boyfriend. Like 2 months in, like, that's it. I'm done. Bye.
I feel like this turned into a Seinfeld episode.
What did?
This podcast.
This whole podcast?
This whole podcast turned into a Seinfeld episode.
We should have been bringing it.
It's not you, it's me.
That's what
And by the way, if you're a Seinfeld fan, like, hit me up, because what is it? No Dick Pics Pod?
No Dick Pics Pod on Instagram. No, it's No D Pics Pod on Instagram. It's No Dick Pics Pod everywhere else. So
yeah.
I didn't tell you this. We have an X account. Twitter, X, whatever it's called.
Yes.
We have, so you can manage that, because I can't.
Twitter is awesome. Everything. It's a lot, but it's awesome at the same time, because it's just like, what are we doing?
Should I let you have control of the Twitter? Because that scares me now.
Yeah.
You're too excited about it.
You don't want to
He's managing Twitter, so if he says some crazy shit, it's not
You don't want to see my Twitter. It is full of just weird stuff.
So you can find us on all platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X. We're on TikTok. But Instagram is the only one that's different. It's No D Pics Pod.
Yeah, if you guys want to be a guest, or you just want to bring questions, like, because the reality is this dating world is just a shit show. And we want to kind of bring it, we want to let you guys know that, like, you're not the only one. Like, you're not the only one.
Follow us on social media. Make sure you send us any questions, any stories, anything like that to nodickpics@gmail.com. Subscribe, rate, and review. Give us 5 stars. 5 stars.
Are we going to be back next week? Because next week's the draft, so I don't know. Are we going to?
Yes, we're going to be back next week.
Actually, let's do it. We're going to do it live.
No, we're not.
Live in front of the draft.
No, we're not.
While you see me swearing.
We're not doing that.
Let's do it live, like NFL draft. Let's do it, like, can we live stream?
We could do, like, a Instagram live.
Live stream in front of the draft.
But I don't know how to keep that.
With the number 10th pick. What the? No.
No, we're not doing that. That's not what our podcast is.
I know.
Anyway, thank you for joining us. We will be back next week, not with the draft.
The draft.
No. All right.
Live from Detroit, baby.
Bye.